Hi, everyone. It's Mitch here with Steve Monahan and the Puck Dogs. Um, Day 3. I think we're getting even less to talk about now than we had before because even ESPN is grasping at straws here, and they've got a lot more people than we do. I think we should take the over-under on people fired in our industry. I think that's what would probably be the next big bet. People are talking about, like, the amount of times a politician says this or that, or something like that. But I'm going to tell you, without lots to cover, these other sites and businesses that are a lot bigger than us, they have a lot more expenses to cover than we do too. And also, of course, they were really up and rolling. We were really just getting started. So we're kind of right back where we were. But how was the day off for you guys, Steve? Anything special going on? Because the kids aren't playing sports either, right?
No, it's all shut down, and it's like a ghost town. I live in a small town, and everybody's bunkered down. I mean, you know, it's sad.
Waiting for the tsunami.
Waiting for the tsunami.
Rod, did you have a chance to stock up at the craft store before this all went down? Maybe get some beads or some other stuff that maybe some other
We're good.
crafting things, supplies.
We're good. We went uptown to look at stuff that was there, and there's no toilet paper. I guess somebody drove 2.5 hours from a town north of us to come all the way down here to buy out all the toilet paper.
I got a perfectly good garden hose right outside my house, as far as I'm
We're good. We're not out.
concerned.
They didn't touch the Kleenex, so I got 8 boxes of Kleenex. It was even cheaper than toilet paper.
Yeah, I have not bought. I have not looked for, nor have I bought one bit of toilet paper or anything extra than we would have normally had. I think that's the least of my concerns. Living on an island in the middle of the ocean. That is the very least of my concerns. Um, we have, some rice, some pasta, some beans, stuff like that. Think fishing
Out
rod,
here,
spear gun.
they have stop deliveries. The guy goes, our delivery truck will be here Monday with 5 skids of toilet paper. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's. I don't understand it, but maybe the last laugh will be on me. But I plan on hitting the garage sales in. At this point, I'm planning on hitting the garage sales in late April, mid May, and really getting some deals on the Charmin out there. It's,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah.
it's. I mean, I'm gonna make like just one of those beds and just fall back into like a mound of toilet paper.
Charmin bed.
But we still have some things going on. We miss, I miss sports, man. I tell you that much. They're showing replays. It's like that's bad. It's like we don't even do recaps on the site because I feel that people, once the game is over, they really don't care anymore. People write me all the time, "Oh, I want to do recaps on the site." I'm like, well, I'm going to lose a lot of money if we do that. No one really cares after the game is over. The beauty of sports is that anything could happen, and there's you meet the strangest characters at the racetrack, but baseball is the game where you could watch 100. I watched 20. What did we say there was 2,400 games in a season or something, and I watch about 2,200 of them. And they say you can watch a baseball game and you'll undoubtedly see something you've never seen before. So it's like, take that out of the game and you got a really, really nasty game. I understand there's Brazilian and Turkey basketball, there's all this stuff, but I honestly don't want to pivot to that unless it really, unless we really have to. Um, I know some of the other sites are doing that, doing stuff that they don't do. And it's like, what are we going to do with our Brazilian and Turkey basketball once everything comes back and nobody cares about it anymore? That's what I'm more concerned about. Is like, I don't want to bring people on to cover these sports and then have to let them go. I'd rather let go of the people I have now, like Chris. But it's just easier for me.
A means to an end.
But so far, everyone seems to be staying busy at both Sports Chat and Pick Dogs. We have a gigantic schedule of stuff. Everyone knows that when it comes to stupid ideas, no one has more than I do. So we have a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. And I've said this a few times. I haven't had a day off in 13 years, and I still haven't had one off. I mean, I wrote an article yesterday, too. I haven't posted it yet, but I'm excited to post it. I actually enjoyed it, writing it. It was fun. Some of the stuff that we're doing, it's kind of like some statistical-based stuff that I've always wanted to do, and it's interesting, because I get to inject my own brand into my writing with this stuff. It's not, while it's stat-based, there is some room, especially because a lot of my stuff has to do with losing streaks that I'm doing, that I'm working on. So it lends itself. I mean, losing streak. The first words out of my mouth is always San Diego Padres. When's the last time these guys won a postseason game? So,
probably 1998 when they played the Yankees in the World Series. Probably
that was they got swept in that series.
That'd be my guess.
No, they got swept.
Well, they had to win again.
Right, the game they won to get there. That actually was it. It's like they went down the Kirk Bavacqua series when they went down against the Tigers. And then, so they haven't won the World Series 7 games in a row, And then in the actual postseason, I think it's 10 games in a row, 9 games in a row for the Padres. But they actually did win one finally. Meanwhile, the Twins are still haven't won 16 in a row. Still haven't won after last year. It's been a long time. And, there's some surprising teams in there, too. Braves, Dodgers. The Cubs, the game before the Bartman game, they lost. And then they didn't win again until 2015. It's a 12-year hiatus. Not from the playoffs, but from winning a playoff game. They were swept by the Diamondbacks in there. I remember that series well. I lived in Chicago. Didn't make a lot of friends. Didn't make a ton. And meanwhile, the White Sox had won a World Series in between to make it even worse. It was like.
Right.
But do you watch the match before that one? I didn't see any of the UFC, to be honest with you. Any of you guys watch any of it? It's not my thing. I'm not going to pretend all of a sudden that it is. I've been to some UFC matches. Our original guy that used to cover UFC, his name was Don, and I met him at the airport in Vegas one year around Super Bowl time, and he was traveling back because they had a UFC card like around that same time, and he was our first UFC writer. And when they would have them in Chicago at the United Center or further out, in the suburbs, he would come in for the matches and he would force me to go. And I always had a good time at the matches, but it's not like something I'm going to go out of my way to watch. I couldn't tell you, 5 of the guys. But when I went, it's like he would explain to me who was who. It's like he knew all the guys,
Yeah, I'm with you. I know nothing about UFC, to be honest with you. I don't follow it. I'm a boxing guy.
The presidential election, we don't do. We don't do any politics, and fortunately, I would say we've been through a lot of elections, believe it or not. 13 years. 2008, 2012, 2016, 2020, another one. We've been through a bunch of elections and all of that other stuff. We've never stated any kind of political affiliation or opinion on this show. The closest I ever came was yesterday. I said 2 very big words. 2 very, very big words. National emergency. 2 very big words. Buttermilk pancakes.
Right.
It's like, oh man, yes. So yesterday, watching there's nothing on TV, right? So I've watched. I haven't slept really in 13 years either. People ask all the time, like, when do you sleep, right? So I haven't really slept 13 years either. So it's like I'm really hitting the sleep here. I've never slept this much in my whole life. And so I'm watching Ted 2, and then I'm, I make it through, maybe the first, up to the Samuel L. Jackson part. and then like I fall asleep. I wake up around the Samuel L. Jackson part. Then I eat like a pint of ice cream. I make it to the end, fall asleep. You know, Dumb and Dumber was on after that. It's just this is what it is. But I am going to do a Selection Sunday show. I think I'll do it 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock if these guys want to come on. We can just talk about what could have been, might have been, maybe some of the players. Could do, if you want, I don't know. We don't have to do it, to be honest with you. Could care less. But anyone else have anything they got to say out here? My wife was the one saying, I didn't let you guys get a word in edgewise yesterday. Chris, what's going on down there in Canada?
Not a whole lot. It was a quiet day yesterday. We went and checked out the stores, found absolutely nothing. We came home. It was a Netflix day. Watched Uncut Gems. That movie was a trip. Adam Sandler in his first serious role I think I've ever seen him in.
Which one?
Uncut Gems.
It was somewhat serious in Spanglish.
Okay. Somewhat serious, but this was fully serious. I mean, I'm not sure if I liked it or not. I'm still.
He was here about. Adam Sandler was here with his kids maybe a month and a half ago. He was out surfing with his kids. So, my friend Ina, the one who does the Booby Shack hats, is the one that was teaching him and his kids. And he was saying, "Listen to the Booby Man."
Yeah, we didn't do too much else though. It's hard to. Even she misses sports, and she doesn't like much else but hockey. But
Cliff Olander went to a bar in Montclair, New Jersey last night and shook someone's hand, and he pulled out a sanitizer and cleaned his hands like
I saw that.
I do it. I'm wiping down my golf cart these days.
I think I would just wear a glove. Wear some gloves.
I've been really browsing for a lot of golf
public
equipment. You know, it's like I bought another set of irons. I didn't have irons. I just bought another set. It's like I don't even know what the hell I'm doing anymore. It's like so far, it's like I bought the Ping I-210s. I've been playing the blueprints, and someone told me that cavity back's probably not a bad way to go. That a lot of pros are using cavity backs now. That I shouldn't feel like I have to play blades. So I looked up what cavity backs the Ping pros were playing, and it's the I-210s. So I bought a set of them. See what happens. I thought about playing 36 holes yesterday. It's crazy because a lot of people are canceling their trips to Maui. So things are starting to clear out here too. We only have, where I live, 130,000 residents. But of those 130,000 residents, a lot of them are only part-time. So I'm going to guess that this place is going to be pretty scarce in the next couple of weeks.
How about Rick Pitino taking the gig at Iona?
Yeah, I had like Prairie View A&M and pegged for that job, circled, you know, in that type of SWAC environment or something. But Iona's actually, for him, I think kind of like a lot bigger job than I thought he was going to get, because these coaches emerge at Montana State. This is where they, you know, somewhere in the mountains, you know. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Montana State or anything like that. Obviously, the Bobcats can play, but it's like this is where you generally see these guys emerge, you know, is at places like that, you know, and you know, a place that doesn't have a Division I football team, which Iona doesn't either. But he's actually a pretty good fit there, and my guess is Iona's going to be pretty tough because no one throws a party like Rick Pitino when it comes to recruiting.
You better believe it.
I mean, we joke around about hookers and blow, but he takes that shit dead serious. It's like, that's actually not a bad idea. It's like, wait a minute. Got 18-year-old kids, you got hookers and blow. What could go wrong? Oh, man.
And then the NFL, I guess they agreed on the 10-year collective bargaining agreement.
I did not see that. So are we going to a 17-game season?
Right. That's what it's been negotiated. I don't see why it would change now, but 10 years of labor peace, that's a good thing for business.
For everyone, including us.
Yeah.
It's going to expand as early as 2021.
Where do you think Tom Brady's going? This seems to be what ESPN is talking about. They got nothing. They got nothing.
Well, it's still minus 180 to stay in New England. When you can see some odds, they got odds online. You can have a look at what the odds are for Brady to go somewhere. It's minus 180 to go into New England. I think it's like plus 2,000 to go to the Bears or something. I still like it plus 600 to go to the Raiders.
I like the Raiders as well.
Yeah. I think the only spot possibly is Tennessee, but I'm staying firm that he winds up back in New England.
The Dolphins are in the mix too, plus 900, something like that.
He's waited 20 years to be courted like this, so he's gonna listen to everything. I just can't see him leaving New England. I just can't see it.
I can. He's done. I don't see him coming back.
Shall see. I mean, the only motive is to win one without the Belichick, partnership, But he's got to go to a team that's got to win now, too. So that's why I think Tennessee and the Vrabel connection and, there's some New England personnel guys that are in the front office in Tennessee. And that's the only landing spot I can see.
Chris, what do you think about this one? The Calgary Flames, they don't want to pay their workers.
I don't like it. I mean, I know they're under no obligation to, but I mean, you've seen all these other owners and even athletes that have taken the stance of it's not these guys' fault, they can't work. So I mean, even if you toss a little bit towards the employees, I mean, that's what I would do in that situation. But again, that's me, and I'm not throwing someone else's money around. So
even the Oilers, same province, they're going to pay their workers some money to help them out through the tough time. Calgary, cheap bombs.
How about some of these other hockey-related companies like CCM or any of these other guys? Do you think they should maybe be pitching in a little too, since they've kind of profited off the NHL for all these years as well? I honestly think that every NBA sponsor should be pouring money into this thing too. I don't think we're talking a ton of money here either. I think that everyone should be covered, at least as much as they can. It's one thing if this thing goes into, next season or something, but it's like, we're talking, Rudy Gobert, 500,000, Giannis, 100,000, I don't understand why some of these corporations, especially guys like Tillman Fertitta, right? I mean, how much money does he have?
A lot.
A lot. Mark Cuban said he would help out,
Right.
I don't know. It's just interesting to see that, why someone else in the NHL wouldn't come in and cover them. I don't know what's going on with the futures picks, but I would say that with the season not being canceled, the bets are probably still open. Tampa is what Scott said. I think he's staying in New England. That's what mine is. I believe that I think there's only two things that he can do, and that is, number one, it's New England. Number two, go to a place that's ready to win right now, like Peyton Manning did with Denver, because while we can, talk about, how he had no receivers last year, which he had none. I mean, they basically sold their soul, right? They said, all right, we'll try. It's like, It's like, let's go way outside of, caring about anything in the world. We'll sign Antonio Brown and Josh Gordon. Okay, how about this? It's like, that's called desperation. Okay, when you're willing to do that. But, when we saw Peyton Manning in Denver, he was a shell of the quarterback that he was in Indy. He was a 120-yard a game quarterback in Indy, or in Denver. I could see Tom Brady heading in that direction. I honestly can. It's underestimated just how good those New England offensive lines have been throughout the years. They've mixed and matched and patched and done everything that they can to keep those lines together. But Tom Brady's had a hell of a lot of time back there to throw. And, you willing to risk it? It's like, you better have a damn good offensive line, man.
What?
I don't know, man. I'll tell you.
They lost the Giants in the Super Bowl. What was the theme there? The Giants destroyed the offensive line and pressure Brady.
I only see one. I understand San Diego. I understand Tennessee. I understand all these things. I think the best case scenario for Tom Brady, outside of re-signing with New England, the Cowboys told Dak Prescott to take a walk, and they signed this guy, and I bet you they win the Super Bowl. How about that? And Tom Brady on the Dallas Cowboys.
It could happen.
What's more American than that?
Yeah, that could totally happen.
That's not happening.
Why wouldn't it?
Again, there are no locks. I know, but
what would you rather do? Lock in Dak Prescott, right? Who 5th round draft choice, and also lock him in for enough money that basically, if Dak doesn't kind of get a little bit better than he's been, you're stuck. You're in Matt Staffordville, and instead, you could have this where it's like, in the next 2 years, you could draft a quarterback. You can kind of make some moves, kind of sit back, take a step back. You got a pretty decent team outside of him. You got a running back. He loves to throw the running backs. You got, some decent wide receivers. You're not going to have Amari Cooper anymore, right? Because we're not paying him. We'd pay, if it was Jerry Rice, maybe we think about paying him. But this is a great wide receiver class coming out. So you don't want to pay this guy who's been this inconsistent that much money. You can't. You can't pay Amari. He has the talent to pay him that kind of money, but you can't give him, Jared, you can't give him top wide receiver in the NFL money when he's not the top wide receiver. And he's not even close. Who would you rather have? Julio Jones or this guy? Who would you rather have? DeAndre Hopkins or this guy? Who would you rather have? I'd rather have a guy that can catch, personally. Number one, the most important thing that a wide receiver does is catch. Number two is run. But if you can't catch, what can you do? Then you're Willie Gault. Skeets Nehemiah. These guys can both catch about the same that Amari Cooper can.
I can catch more than that.
Cooper used to be a great wide receiver. I'm not sure what happened to this guy.
He's always got these nagging injuries.
He's got nagging injuries, but I think that when we look at some of these college programs, right, and why their players don't excel at the next level, it's like because it could be that Nick Saban has coached them to the point where it's like this is as good as they're going to get ever. I don't know. But it's like I don't see the Alabama players. Yeah, we have Derrick Henry, he was good at Alabama. He's good in the NFL. It's like we have other players, here and there. But it's like they're few and far between compared to the schools that pumped out the guys before this, USC, Miami. It's like we don't see that next elevation to Hall of Famer coming out of this Bama Nick Saban pipeline that we saw out of the Butch Davis Miami pipeline. We're not seeing it.
Yeah, but he also had Trent Richardson too, didn't he?
Yeah, Well, I mean, and Miami's had plenty too. They had Steve Walsh, they had Vinny Testaverde, who was had a long career, but he was hardly. I think Mike Rumpf was a number one draft choice. They had Glenn Dennison. That was early in the cycle. That was pre-Butch Davis. Believe me, Miami had plenty of these guys too, and most of them were drafted by the Giants or the Jets. And they had Joseph, right, the defensive lineman, who was great at Miami. Stalker McDougal was another one. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on. But then they also had guys that probably weren't as heralded at Miami that went on to have very big careers, in the NFL. Like Gus the Bus Edwards, who transferred from Miami, right? And look at him now, for the Ravens. Serviceable number 2 running back. Not going to the Hall of Fame, but I don't know. I just think that, when you look at Amari Cooper, I don't see sell the farm to keep this guy. Because you have to remember, in a salary cap league, all there is the pie, right? So it's like when you have the pie, it's, if one guy's taking up a slice like I eat at Thanksgiving, then you're screwed. There's no pie for everybody else.
That's right.
So, like, when you got Aaron Rodgers, this is the problem, part of the problem. So, I don't know, man. I think Amari Cooper is probably in for, I don't know who's going to pay him. I really don't at this point. Especially, I don't see who pays him pre-draft. I would rather have Ruggs than him. I'd rather have, Jerry Jeudy, the 2 new Alabama.
Lamb. Maybe. The guy was productive at Oklahoma.
Yeah, the thing, but in the spread, we saw Oklahoma's wide receiver from the year before, Hollywood Brown. He was okay. Oklahoma wide receivers generally not tearing up the NFL.
That's true.
You're more likely to see a wide receiver from a place you never heard of tear up the NFL than from Oklahoma. I mean, this is the last
T. Higgins from Clemson.
Wisconsin wide receivers are rarely the shit either, I have to say.
Altoon, standard bearer.
Altoon. Jets took him ahead of Jerry Rice.
They did.
Altoon was a great receiver, though. I mean, great receiver. He was great, but the problem is, got taken ahead of Jerry Rice. So that's
taking Sam Bowie before Michael Jordan.
It's taking Doug Cosby right before Joe Montana.
Yeah.
Oops.
It's been a lot of those. Anyways, I think Brady, like I said, I think he needs to go somewhere with a solid offensive line, a solid running game. The Titans make a lot of sense, but the Patriots make the most sense. He's a lifer, and I don't know if the Patriot fans, who's Plan B? Who is Plan B? If, it's going to
Ryan Tannehill if it's Tennessee.
Yeah, I think the problem that the Pats have is that they've been piecemealing it together for a long time, and with or without Brady, they're probably in for a setback here because you have at least 2 other teams in the division that kind of have things going on. The Dolphins and the Bills. The Dolphins have the most cap space available of anyone, and they also have the most draft choices of anyone. So probably, I'm going to guess the drought ends in Miami pretty soon as far as like how lousy this team has been. Rambo. Is Rambo related to Kenyon Rambo? One of my favorite college wide receivers with the 0.0 grade point average.
Right.
Yep.
Literally.
Oh, he did. 0.0. He failed out. Blutarski did.
Yeah.
The Blutarski. Someone's got some picks in here. Any other prominent free agents out there? Anything else we got to talk about today? I mean, we got the NBA draft too. It's weird because now we have, the regular season. Who knows what's going to happen, right? What's everyone up to today? Anything exciting?
Shoveling out. I got a pile of snow and drifts, and it's crazy. So that's what I get to do. Shovel out.
I'm going to do a podcast with my brother at some point this afternoon.
Talk about losing streaks. I'm still yet to be on the Monahan Brothers podcast.
Well, now we got all the time in the world.
Yeah, now they want me. Now you want me. I talked to my friends at USA Today yesterday. I don't even want to tell everyone what they're thinking about this, about the stoppage. Because they are always traditionally the sky is falling. I love them. They're my friends, and they have supported me and my websites since basically day one. They were the first ones to reach out when I had the original college football place and said, "You're going to be huge on the internet." And I said, "Well, I've got 10 readers now." They said, "Don't worry about it. We've seen this before." And they have supported me and backed me always. And I'll tell you what, because I used to have on the website when I had advertising through USA Today Sports, that I was part of the USA Today Sports team or whatever. And believe me, they got some not so friendly emails about things I had said about Syracuse and their fans and things like that, and some other people stuff. It was basically the knock it off phone call. Hey, this guy, knock it off. Dolphins were Vegas team this year. Yeah, here it is. It's 17 games as early as 2021. So that could be next season. I like it.
And they can expand the playoff field to 14 as early as next year.
Make it everybody. Just put everybody in.
Right.
It's like the Cleveland Browns. It's like these are things that always irk me. It's like when they change the system and then talk about like how something happened. Like to me, the big one, the first time it really got on my nerves was the Broncos-Giants Super Bowl when they changed it from a 30-second play clock to a 40-second continuous. It was like a different play clock. It used to be 30 seconds, and the clock would stop on an incomplete pass and when a guy was out of bounds. Then they went to like a 40-second play clock, but the clock was running like all the time. Right? It was like an intermediary way that they did it in between where we are now and where we were then. And it was the longest drive in Super Bowl history. It was like, yeah, because you changed the rules. It's like, you made it so the clock's running the whole time. Of course it's going to be the longest drive. And they went on and on and on because they had nothing else to talk about. I mean, it was a horrific game. It was really bad. I remember it was the O.J. Anderson, who was another Miami guy that, once again, who was not drafted by the Giants. He was drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals.
That is correct.
What if Brady retires? He could just retire. Maybe he doesn't go anywhere.
That's not going to happen.
That's not happening.
Plus 2,900. Plus 3,400 to go to Dallas. Your Titans are plus 1,000. So 10-1, they go to Tennessee. That might be worth putting a couple bucks on there.
The longest drive, 9 minutes and 29 seconds.
9 minutes and 29 seconds, the ball bounce?
Was
it going down the highway? Holy man.
The Giants against the Broncos. It was ridiculous. The Broncos were winning at the beginning of the game. It was sad.
That's true.
Just sucked the wind right out of their sails. I have been to, I believe, 5 or 6 Super Bowls, but I haven't been to one in about 30 years, at least. So I was at 2 of Steve's team's losses to the Steelers. I was at when the old Orange Bowl had the artificial turf.
Right.
And
is that the Lynn Swan catch
it was
down
the Lynn
sideline?
Swan catch game, and also the one where
Hollywood Henderson stole the ball.
Yeah, but I believe there was also one where
and the Jackie Smith drop in that game.
Well, there's Jackie Smith drop, and also the Mitch Hoops blocked punt was also in that game. Which,
that was the first Hoops.
Just doesn't get the ink that it should, I mean, Hoops, he didn't really go on to have that illustrious punting career. Bobby Walden was the punter for the Steelers.
That's right. Number 39.
He always looked like he was like 100, right? Why
Absolutely.
do old kickers always look like... I mean, they all looked like they were about 100 years old to begin with. Bakken looked like he was about 100. Fred Cox was always looked like, it's like the old kickers always looked like they were 100 years old. Gary Apremian was basically had the receding hairline and bald spot, for the Dolphins. It's like they all looked old,
They did.
George Blanda was old,
Yes, he was.
But, yeah, it's just a different game now than it used to be. They just changed the rules to make it all fit. I don't know anything about Mexican Soccer League. I wish I did. Solo Z is going to this one in Tampa. Is that you, Chris, or Steve?
Yeah, that's me.
What is it?
We have an app that if you check the lottery tickets and it wins, that's the noise that it makes.
I want to develop an app, and I'll announce this in front of our 56 people that are watching. I feel like I'm on one of those other shows. It's like 56 people watching. I think it's still more people than watch some of those other shows, right? That I want the app to say how crowded Costco is. Like, I don't mean like, just during times like this, just in general, right? Because where I live, the Costco is like right next to the airport, so the tourists come off the plane. They know, like, Maui's not one of those places. If you Google like discount cheap vacations, Maui's usually not on the list, right? So it's like a lot of the tourists will stay in Airbnbs or something like that, and not all of them. Do. We have some great hotels too, Ritz-Carlton, Grand Wailea. We have Four Seasons. We got everything, But a lot of them will stay in vacation rentals, and but my local Safeway store, I mean, peanut butter is $11. It is what it is. A loaf of bread is $9. So hitting Costco is like, anyone that's done any mild research on the internet knows you got to hit Costco right then and there,
$11 for peanut butter? That's almost. So then you put the conversion.
A loaf of bread is $9 here.
Holy!
I know.
I guess you don't eat much bread.
No, I don't eat a lot of bread.
I was gonna say I wouldn't be eating a lot of bread either.
I'm on the non bread from Costco. I like the non bread.
The non bread, yeah.
It's got to be horrible for you. It tastes so good. It's got to be terrible
good.
for you. It's like there's no way this is anything. There's no way this is good for you. It's like you taste it and it's like, oh man, it's like a buttery. It's like, there's no way this has got to be just like poison for the arteries. But I think, like, if someone had an app that told you, like, how crowded Costco was right now, like, even, Sunday at 10 o'clock, or, Tuesday afternoon or whatever. So, because for us, we don't have a strip mall on every corner, It's a half hour to go drive to Costco to go into town.
For 2 hours for us here.
Yeah. So it's like, it'd be nice to know.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to brag. I got 5 within a half-hour drive each way.
Oh my God.
Well, no, that's in major cities. That's the way it is. When I lived in Chicago, it was the same way. We had one, and then all of a sudden, it's like then there was another one, and another one. It was like, they pop up everywhere.
But in Ontario, you're just driving down the road, and then all of a sudden it'll be like, "Welcome to Hamilton," and you're like, "What? Did I leave Toronto?
Yeah.
When did I leave Toronto?" Because it's always houses. It's just houses and houses, and then you're in Hamilton, and you're like, what the?
Chris has Costco experience. Chris, what's the number one purchased item at Costco? Like outside of like toilet paper, like of the odd items, like a chair or a sofa or something. Like what's the number one? Here it's I know here it's the boogie board. It's definitely the boogie board, man. It's like I see the tourists like always load up with boogie board and macadamia nuts. It's like
depends on the time of year. I mean, like a lot of times bananas or I mean, we have a heavy like around where I am, heavy East Indian population, so a lot of people buy milk for church and stuff like that. But random purchases.
Yeah, like like I bought some things I bought at Costco. Like, I mean, everyone buys that one thing at Costco that you're kind of like you were excited about it when you saw it. You had no idea that you were going to get it when you were going to go in. You get it home. It's kind of still sitting, right where you got it.
Yeah, I do that all the time because I've learned if you see a good price on something, you buy it and then you can return it later. But
and then at Costco it shows up, and then you might be like, I'll get it next time, and you come around next time, and it's gone. It's gone. So you're like,
the woman who my wife walks the dog with, her husband is the manager or the head guy. He's one of the top guys in Costco. I mean, the Maui Costco is like I think the busiest one that there is of all the Costcos, and because we only have one, for the whole island, and we have the tourists who hit it, but. He manages it, and it's just, it's an unenviable job. It's like there's no like redeeming, like, oh man, because like if the coolers break, it's like they call him at 2:00 in the morning. It's like, it doesn't matter what happens. It's like on his day off, something always happens. But so one of the things that I get at Costco, I got Sam's rug right here that he plays on. So we just change it out every couple months. But that's one of the exciting.
What is that? Is that the Wildlife Costco?
In our Costco? No, it is the Kahului Costco.
The busiest one is on Oahu.
Oh, is it?
That's the one. That's the busiest Costco. What is in the United States? The busiest Costco is located in Hawaii on the island of Oahu.
I believe it.
No,
that's where the toilet paper. That's where the toilet paper thing started. Was right there. It is.
What's it about? That's
where it started. Was at that Costco, and
at that cost.
It makes sense. It makes sense. That. People here would be hoarding stuff, but I don't see it in most other places. I don't understand it. On the mainland, it's like I don't get it. I'm from Miami, but I live in Maui. People are asking. Steve lives in New Jersey, and these two guys are in Canada.
Yep.
Steve is close enough to New York City, but not really. He's more in the suburbs, Strip Mallville.
20 miles from Manhattan.
20 miles and 7,241 strip malls between him and Manhattan.
That's correct.
I do kind of miss like having a Best Buy on every street corner. I kind of do miss it sometimes.
That's one thing that didn't make it up here. They moved Best Buys up here and tried to go in Canada, and they flopped. Ooh, Best Buy did a big flop. Yeah,
I think I still have one near me.
And then the other one that was the American. What was that other one?
Target.
Target. Oh yeah, Target came up here and they flop. Big flop. They lost so much money coming.
They were in and out. They were in and out within 2 years.
Yeah, they lost so much money coming up here.
I didn't know that. It's interesting.
Interesting stuff.
Awesome.
Well, because you look when they opened up here, you go into the store and it'd be like, okay, why does this quarter of the store have nothing on the shelf? There is nothing on the shelf. There was this bare. Shelves were empty. It was like what is this place? This is not looking good. They definitely didn't plan, and they just decided to open a schwack of them. It was like, let's pile all of them in there.
Trying to see who voted which way in the collective bargaining. So, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and J.J. Watt all were against. Which just goes,
Come again?
Which just goes to show you where their priorities lie. Because
Who was against J.J. Watt and who?
J.J. Watt, Russell Wilson, and Aaron Rodgers. Because, see, the new going to the 17-game schedule gives all the players more money. It gives them a pretty nice raise. It comes out to like 0.5% or something, but it ends up being like, billions of dollars that goes back into the players. But these are the guys that make so much money. It really doesn't matter. One abstention. I went 17-14 was the vote. But those, three very high salaried players don't care about the extra money for anybody else.
That's right.
Russell Okung against it. Another guy makes tons of money. Oddly enough, DeMaurice Smith is one of my LinkedIn connections. Not sure how that happened, but he is.
D. Smith.
On that note, we're gonna go hit the golf course. I think.
Alrighty.
What are you guys up to today? We know the 5 pallets of TP coming in to Rod's.
Tomorrow we get 5 skids off the truck. The grocery truck comes in. Right, I'm gonna have to clean up dog hair. Look at all this dog hair. The whole show, the dogs have been play fighting, so there's fur flying everywhere. The puppy thinks he can beat the big dog, and he's not winning.
Yeah, I feel like we want to take out some frustration, so I think we're going to go shopping.
Solo Z is saying Steve was on Capper's picks. Absolutely not. Steve has never been on any other show except for the one with his brother and this one.
That is correct.
So
you get mixed up with the other guy.
Shane, who writes at Pick Dogs now, is from Capper's picks. Not that I'm pilfering other people's writers; they come to me. We have 2 recent writers that have come from other websites. Chris Smith came from Picks and Parlays, and Shane from Capper's Picks. But these guys have come to me, and other sites all reach out. It's like, who would you rather work with, us or those guys? I mean, it's pretty, it's your choice. I can't say why or why not. Legally bound to not be able to say anything, which makes it a little difficult for me. So anyone that is going to struggle with an anti-disparagement clause in a contract, it's probably me. So I asked my lawyer, so I can't say this, so I can't say this. You can't. You really should probably say nothing. For you. For other people, I'd say you could mention some of these things or whatever. But actually, I can, like, if I write a book or something, I can say certain factual events.
What's the number 1 item sold at Costco?
What is the number 1 item sold at Costco?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm going to say it's going to be, it's probably chicken or chicken, dishwashing soap, or Tide Pods.
Detergent.
Toilet paper.
Toilet paper.
Toilet paper is the most number 1 item sold at Costco.
Updated as of
It's like
2 days ago.
So freaking obvious. It's like when that's
over 1 billion rolls.
That's like what I say at the horse track, or it's like when I'm at the craps table, I always say it all the time. Hard 4. It's so obvious. It's so obvious.
And this was done in 2019. So this was
Okay.
before the coronavirus, so that didn't just spike because of the coronavirus. All of a sudden, toilet paper
True
was the
story.
number one seller.
So my wife cleaned out my desk, right? When I was in San Diego, my wife cleaned out my desk. All the like loose cash and bills that I had like lying around my desk, like the piggy bank that we were talking about, she put them all neatly in an envelope. You got to see this.
She ironed them.
It's like,
This big wad. You don't know what denominations
seriously.
there are, so you're like, yeah.
It's like I need a 71-inch TV. Okay, it's like
One,
Is this-
two.
I need a down payment on a condo. I'm gonna go clean my husband's desk off. It's like, which leads me to believe that maybe I should be cleaning my desk a little more often. Anyways, craziness, and what I would have done for that in college. Anyways, this is Mitch for the Puck Dog. Steve, thanks for joining us again today. We'll be back tomorrow. I don't know, man. The conversation certainly is. It's really, really getting down there. I appreciate everyone that shows up every day. We're going to keep going, and tell you what, we're going to have sports again. And if you check out Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place, we are adding content. It's certainly nothing too exciting or sexy, but I think you guys will. Well, maybe you won't enjoy it. It doesn't really matter, but it beats the crap out of waiting in line at Costco. Have a great day, everyone. We will see you tomorrow.